Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be reviewing this book here, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. Hope you can see that. Viktor Frankl was a psychologist. He's dead now. He was a Viennese psychologist, but he ended up in, because he was Jewish, he ended up in a concentration camp during the Nazi period. And subsequently, after his release, he ended up in America, where he continued to practice and to sort of propagate his theories. Viktor Frankl founded a therapy called logotherapy, which means meaning therapy. Logos meaning meaning in Greek, to help his patients find meaning in their lives. Frankl argued that the most important human urge is not pleasure, but the will to meaning. And if that urge is frustrated, humans will get depressed, or at least suffer from neurosis. Frankl's theories were based upon his imprisonment in a concentration camp. The first part of the book is semi-autobiographical. He describes how he lost everything, his family and possessions, to the Nazis. Yet, as he explores most clearly in the second half of the book, although some degree of suffering is universal, survival is about finding meaning in unavoidable suffering. But he stresses that if the suffering is avoidable, the meaningful thing to do is to remove that suffering. Frankl describes the ability to choose one's attitude in a given set of circumstances, the last of the human freedoms, that no one can take away, not even a dictator. For me, this can be related to autism. Being autistic is hard, and suffering can occur as a result of being in a world that is not tailored to my needs. However, I can either choose to resign myself to this fate, get down by it and give up, or I can pursue my interests, find meaning by following my own path and choose acceptance. Because autism, if you are autistic, there's nothing, you can't stop being autistic. Autism can't be cured. So really you have the attitudinal choice of either accepting what you've been born with and trying to make the best of things, or to get down by it and to kind of just feel hopeless and like you can't do anything about it, and that's the choice you really have at the end of the day. Admittedly, this can be hard, but it's far more positive approach than wallowing in doom and gloom. Frankl says on page 12 that life holds a potential meaning under any condition, even the most dire. Therefore, we are not completely at the mercy of our environment, and there is always the redemptive power to overcome apathy and despair. This freedom was displayed within the concentration camp. Some prisoners chose to carry on despite the awful existence they had to endure, while others gave up and sank into apathy. Frankl also argued that meaning is generated by looking to the future, or by formulating future goals and aspirations. This gives us something to look forward to, even when our present circumstances are bleak. Humans need a why, or an aim, to their existence, and this meaning is unique to each person. So every person has their own individually tailored meaning that they've created for themselves that can't be compared to anyone else's meaning. It is an absolute meaning that has its own internal validity. My meaning is found by reading books and trying new recipes. Where do you get your meaning from? Post below. So life has no general meaning, only specific meanings for each person. There is no general, absolute meaning outside of individuals waiting to be found in the universe. We each have to form our own life meaning, our own narrative, which is an act of creation that each individual has to make in order to try and make sense of their life. Each situation is unique, which means suffering and all circumstances are incomparable. So if someone suffers, their suffering is absolute. It can't be compared, it can't be trivialised by relating it to someone else's situation, because everyone's situation is unique and has its own individual challenges. Each person must formulate their own unique response. I'm now going to move on to part 2 of this book review. So I'm moving on to part 2 now.